Folks, we finally got a little bit more insight into the injury that has been plaguing Bucs running back Bucky Irving, and it's not really a positive update. Shout out to Sleeper, by the way. More on them a little bit later on in this video. So, recently Todd Bowles spoke to the media on November 10th, and he was asked a couple of questions regarding the overall health of Bucky Irving, okay? Now, when asked on whether Bucky Irving's injury issue is now more shoulder than ankle, Todd Bowles said yes. That is saying that the shoulder is the main injury issue for Bucky Irving right now instead of his ankle injury. Now, when asked on if he expects Bucs running back Bucky Irving back soon, he said, hopefully, we'll see if he can take a hit. Pause right there, right? Because one, hopefully. That isn't exactly a very optimistic thing to say. It's just hopefully. Of course, Todd Bowles is hopeful that Bucky Irving will be back soon. Everybody's hopeful that Bucky Irving will be back soon. But just off the jump, using the word like hopefully, it's not a great thing to hear. But then, the sentence after that, we'll see if he can take a hit. Do you mean to tell me that Bucky Irving's shoulder injury right now is so bad that he cannot even have physical contact with that shoulder? That's how bad that injury is right now. That's not a good thing to see, folks, or hear, in my opinion. And we may even dive into some of the previous quotes from head coach Todd Bowles. But again, right now, like, Bucky Irving not being able to take a hit on his shoulder is that's a pretty significant shoulder injury, right? And I've talked about this already. Bucky has missed 6 games now, including the Patriots game, with shoulder and foot issues. Now a main shoulder issue is the main concern here of this, right? Now, when asked on if it's possible that Bucky Irving practices this week, Todd Bowles said, no, I didn't say that. I said, hopefully we get him back soon. I didn't say he was practicing this week, which is not a good sign, right? I'm not even saying not a good sign for this week, right? But like, this puts in so much doubt for Bucky not even coming back this week. I wouldn't even say not even coming back next week. Is it going to be another month before Bucky Irving is back? Because right now, Todd Bowles is saying, hopefully we get him back soon. He can't take contact on his shoulder. I didn't say he was practicing this week. I mean, this is all indications of this is a significant shoulder injury, right? Is this going to knock Bucky out for the rest of the season? We don't know, right? Is he going to be out until the playoffs? Who knows? Right? But it does seem like, yes, this is a very significant shoulder injury that Bucky Irving has been dealing with here. Then when asked on if he knows whether or not Bucky Irving could practice this week, he said, not right now, no. But again, he went back and said, I didn't say he was practicing this week. And he did go on to say, like, I don't know if he's practicing this week, but I didn't say he was, which is, in my opinion, indicating that he probably won't practice this week. And again, when you're saying stuff like, we'll see if his shoulder can take a hit, if his shoulder can deal with physical contact, that is not a good indication as to where he is at in terms of injury expectations and whatnot right now. I do also want to go back and talk about the overall previous comments of what Todd Bowles was talking about regarding the shoulder injury to Bucky Irving, because he also mentioned it a few days ago as well regarding this overall situation. Maybe it was the 5th I had seen this comment. Yes. So, okay. Take a look right here on if this was on November 5th. So they're coming along, obviously they're getting treatment and they're training, they do a lot of stuff in the morning, so when they're capable of coming back out there and doing more, we'll have them do more. It's possible. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Well, obviously the situation has not gotten much better, so to speak. And then if we continue to go further down here, right here, whenever we're talking about this, this was on the 5th, okay? This was on the 5th of November. On if he can clarify whether Bucky Irving's foot injury or shoulder injury is holding him back more. I mean, he's still coming along. He's running. So Bucky was running on November 5th, okay? Todd Bowles said, hey, he's running. So the foot ankle thing wasn't an issue right there on the 5th. He was running, right? He hasn't taken any contact with his shoulder. That was on the 5th of November, everybody. The 5th of November. A week later, he still isn't taking any contact on that shoulder. This is not a good sign. Okay, when we read the tea leaves of those two quote sheets, this is not a good sign to say that Bucky will be back anytime soon. The 10th, I should say. Apologies. It was 5 days later, but still basically a week later, and Bucky still can't have no contact on that shoulder. This is something that, leads me to believe we won't see Bucky back this week. We won't see Bucky back next week. Maybe we'll see him back in 2 weeks. Maybe it'll take longer than that. But when your own head coach is saying, I'm hopeful, not we will probably see him back, it's more of a hopefully we see him back. It's not a good sign. I just wanted to read you guys these quotes today. Take a look at it as well. And just dive deeper into it. The shoulder is the big issue for Bucky Irving right now. It is his shoulder. It seems like a significant shoulder injury that has kept him out of action for a while now. A little bit of a foot injury in there as well, but the shoulder seems like it has been the main concern. One more thing before we go ahead and head out, everybody. I do want to say shout out to Sleeper, the proud sponsor of this channel. As you guys can see over here, making your picks is just as simple as hitting a couple of buttons. If you guys do use the code MrBucs, you will get a 100% match up to $100. That is whenever you use the code MrBucs. Also, for signing up, everybody, you get $20 for free. It's simple as that. So make sure you go download the Sleeper app today. Enjoy football the way it was meant to be. That is together. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.